Colette, I'd like to ask you, you've been a state regulator, you've been a regulator at the federal level, and what do you think are impediments to good decision making? Because at the heart of, being a top quartile regulator, I think it is making good decisions, making decisions that are in the best interest of the customer. But what gets in the way of doing that, and how could we address that in order to get, higher performance? Any thoughts on that?
Thank you for that, Christine. The greatest one is something we've been speaking about today, but I want to put a finer point on it, and that is one critical impediment to top quartile regulation is a lack of coordination. We see it in its most perverse view as really regulatory hubris, where decisions are made in a vacuum, they're made quickly, they are made without proper information, maybe without a full record, and without these tried and true notions of due process which underpin good decision making. In this work, I find that, and I found in my latter years as a regulator, keeping up with the pace of innovation, technological advancements were so challenging, but also refreshing rulemakings that may be associated with net metering, for instance, or siting issues. As these matters have evolved, you're juggling many things at once. It's critical for the regulator to always appreciate the importance of collaboration, not as something good to do, but as a must, and to strive to take into account every perspective as it makes its decision, as the regulator does. It doesn't mean that the regulator will agree with every perspective, but it's critical that the regulator approach this work with an open mind and to be open to wherever the road leads him or her. And many times when I was a younger regulator, a newer regulator, I would see an application and think, there's no way I would do that. I wasn't open. By the end of that proceeding, I was fully in support because I had to check my preconceived notions and thinking about what should happen and be disciplined and allow the law and the mandate and the record take me to where it would lead me. I think one other impediment is something that was mentioned earlier, Christine, and that is failing to get buy-in from stakeholders. I remember working as chair of the Arkansas Commission, developing comprehensive energy efficiency program plans. That means energy efficiency for every ratepayer class. Initially, Ben, when I approached this work, I thought there would be no reason at all to include incentives for energy efficiency. It ought to be done anyway. What are we talking about? But I came to learn that the stick approach wasn't the best approach, and the carrot and the stick might have been a little better, but the best way as we were launching this was the carrot approach, Ben. So you would have liked that very much because it moved all boats at the same time, rising them, and we were all rowing in the same direction. That was a critical element for us to gain buy-in from stakeholders, to be transparent with customers about this work and why it's important and why there would be some costs that would have to go into it, but also critically at the end of the day, everyone working to achieve the same goal.